Hi, this is Supreet. I upload new videos every Sunday. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Grow with Supreet. If you're an artist, a blogger, a content creator, or you're a person who wants to live more creatively, or you're a person who is perhaps stuck in a creative rut or has questions or doubts about their creative process, then an excellent book that I would highly recommend is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I read this book in January of 2020, and it's one of the books that has had a very deep impact on me, probably because of the timing. At the time, I had lots of confusion and doubt in my own creative process as a YouTuber. I was even questioning whether I should continue my YouTube journey or just quit it. But that book came at the right time to me, and it helped in dissolving a lot of my doubts and confusion. And in this video, I'm going to share my biggest takeaways and the notes I wrote down while reading this book. So, here we go. A creative life is an amplified life. It's a bigger life. It's a happier life and a hell of a lot more interesting life. Argue for your limitations and you get to keep them. You can measure your worth by your dedication to your path, not by your successes or failures. You can live a long life, making and doing really cool things the entire time. You might earn a living with your pursuits, or you might not. But you can recognize that this is not really the point. At the end of your days, you can thank creativity for having blessed you with a charmed, interesting, passionate existence. And this next point, everybody needs to hear this, not just creative people, but everybody. And this point is, all good ideas feel daunting at first. My next note from the book is, John Didion said, "I don't know what I think until I write about it." I love this because I know personally that writing helps me to think better. In the end, creativity is a gift to the creator, not just to the audience. And this next point was kind of like a parenting lesson for me. Elizabeth Gilbert says, "Maybe because my parents didn't worry too much about me, I didn't worry too much either. I will never stop creating, no matter what the outcome, and no matter how deep my anxieties and insecurities may be." Now, this next one is gold. For any content creator, this next point is gold. Most things have already been done, but they have not yet been done by you. Once you put your own expression and passion behind an idea, that idea becomes yours. Talking about originality versus authenticity, Gilbert says, "Share whatever you are driven to share. If it's authentic enough, it will feel original." You must be willing to take risks if you want to live a creative existence. No way was I going to give up on my work simply because it wasn't working. That wasn't the point of it. The rewards could not come from the external results. They had to come from the joy of puzzling out the work itself, and from the private awareness I held that I had chosen a devotional path and I was being true to it. If someday I got lucky enough to be paid for my work, that would be great, but in the meantime, money could always come from other places. This particular point really made an impact on me because at that point, when I was reading this book in January 2020, I was beginning to become worried about external factors with my YouTube work, things like subscribers and likes and so on, and also thinking, I have made so many videos, I have worked so hard, why is my subscriber count still too low? So I was beginning to attach myself to the external outcome a lot, and in that process, I had forgotten my original reasons to create my channel, and I had kind of lost that passion a bit. So when I read things like this in the book, it really helped to reconnect me to my original purpose of starting my channel, which was to help others. It wasn't to get subscribers or likes, and somehow in the process, after a year of doing it, I had begun to forget my purpose. So this book was really great for reconnecting me back to my calling. Everybody imitates before they can innovate. If you can dedicate yourself to anything diligently for 10 years, that would make you an expert. Learning how to endure your disappointment and frustration is part of the job of a creative person. Exactly the words I needed to hear at that time, because being disappointed and frustrated is exactly what I was feeling then. Now, this next point is a little bit of a spiritual point, but I love it. I love how beautifully it is stated. My suffering takes this whole thrilling and gigantic universe and shrinks it down to the size of my own unhappy head. If you're stuck, do something else. Einstein called this tactic combinatory play, the act of opening up one mental channel by dabbling in another. He would often play the violin when he was having difficulty solving a mathematical puzzle. After a few hours, he could usually find the answer. So these were some of the notes that I wrote down while reading this book. Reading this book helped me to reconnect with my original reasons to create, and it also helped to remind and congratulate me about my internal measures of success. It also helped me to feel more joy and less stress in the process of creation. I smiled and felt inspired on pretty much every page. So thank you to Elizabeth Gilbert for writing this book, which created big magic in my life.